Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon from wherever you are tuning in. But here it is. You are at the right place at the right time. And it is time for real talk, real solutions with Dr. Anana. Super excited to have you here. And listen, I always tell you to please like, comment, and share. Join in the conversation this evening. We are talking about mental health in the minority community. And this has been an awesome month. I've had some incredible speakers and presenters and some really cool people. Mental illness. I'm excited. I pray that you've gained something from either the podcast, the YouTube, or watching us live on Facebook. But tonight is the grand finale. Tonight is the night where we bring it all together. And I have a super amazing guest that's going to be here. And the one thing about even having this discussion, having this dialogue, we are always focusing on the four C's, dealing with civility, dealing with community, creativity, and climate change. And I can tell you, when we talk about mental health, it certainly is about civility. And definitely even about a community where we can be comfortable in discussing and talking about the mental health challenges that affect our community. And I hope that even my prayer is even the time that you spend and everyone that's listening, that we get to the point as a people where we talk about mental health just how we talk about any other health issue that affects our community. And I always say that, and I pray that just with as ease as you can say, I have hypertension, I want someone to be just as comfortable to say that I have clinical depression. Just with that ease as you can say, well, you know what, I have Type syndrome. I want it that there's no resistance, there's no apprehension. We can just be real, we can just be clear. And of course, what we do here, and we can talk about the solutions and how we can help and support one another. Right. So, and knowing, I know we talk about this every week, but I want to make sure that, again, if you're listening for the first time, let me just be the first to tell you, if it is that African Americans are more likely to report mental health issues, but are less likely to seek treatment. And let's be clear that racism, even access, distrust of medical institutions, and cultural differences are some of the barriers that really prevent African Americans from getting the help when they are struggling with mental illness. And tonight, of course, Dr. Anana is here, and I have an amazing guest. I have the privilege of introducing her to some of our community. I'm excited, just her energy. She has an amazing vibe. But let me tell you about Dr. Jenna. She is the founder and the chief Think Up officer of the Think Up Group, a Dallas-based leadership consulting firm. She specializes in helping leaders maximize their message and develop their mental strength. I know that's right. And mental stamina so that they can lead with effectiveness and drive peak performance. She uses best practices, techniques, effective communication, and proven self-development practices to help leaders win. Oh my goodness, I'm ready. I don't know if you're ready. If you're watching again, I want you to like it. Now is the time to share. You do not want to let anybody miss this episode tonight. So I want to welcome, present to some, and introduce to others Dr. Jenna Dyson. She is coming. She's coming.
Hey. Hey.
Oh, super excited to have you tonight. How are you?
I am doing
You're
awesome.
here.
It is such
All
a
right,
pleasure.
there she goes.
Yeah.
You look fabulous, fantastic. So, you know what? We're going to get right into it, Dr. Jenna. Tell me, how are you doing? How are you doing? First of all, let's do a quick check-in. How are you feeling today? How was your day?
I am doing awesome. It's always a pleasure to get to share and to get to talk about mental health because many people still considered very taboo. And I feel like it's a part of who I am. So I'm so excited to be here. I've been up this morning since 3 o'clock. I've just knocked out 11 hours of corporate executive mindset coaching. So trying to get these top leaders' mind right now. I'm here ready to serve, and I have another talk after this. So today is just really all about serving and helping people really transform their minds so that they can create the life that they want.
Let's talk about it. Now I read just a snippet about your professional bio. Now, can you just let the folks know, the Real Talk, Real Solutions audience, folks are watching from all over the world. Can you just let the folks know a little bit about who you are, what you do, and of course, who you serve?
Absolutely. So number one, I'm a child of God. So I think that's the pillar, that's the foundation of who I am. I'm a mom to 3 amazing Think Up kids, and I'm a wife. Beyond those roles, those are my first primary roles, I'm also an executive mindset and speaker coach. So I teach people how to think up and create the future that they want in their mind first. And this all stems from my background in struggling with my own mind, and then understanding that I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that has really been defined as being crazy my whole life, but how can I really turn this into an opportunity in a way to impact people? So that's the first space. The second space is that I have a passion to helping thought leaders like you learn how to maximize your message and monetize your mission. What happens many times is that many of us that have struggled with mindset and mental health issues and anxiety, I feel like with the underdogs are overwhelmed, we feel like that we don't have a place in society. We feel like that we don't have a voice. So my space, my desire, my passion is to help people just like me move their voice so they can get 6- and 7-figure contracts in corporate spaces by teaching other people how to maximize their message. So that's kind of what I do. So I'm a mindset and speaker coach. And before COVID, I traveled all over the world. We're simply teaching people how to create what they want in their mind first.
It just took me back, and it's just so real. Yeah. That's just where it all starts, right here. So,
it does.
So I
and
know
one of
you
the things,
are a mental health expert. No, go ahead, please go right ahead.
Yeah. So, I really wouldn't call myself a mental health expert. I call myself a mental health advocate. And the reason why I say advocate over expert is that when people are in crisis, when people are facing trauma, when people are looking death in its eyes, they don't want an expert. They want somebody that has walked that walk. They want somebody that understands. They want somebody that can link arms with them and that can show them how to move their way out. So although I have educational background in counseling, in management, I do executive mindset coaching now. I would never call myself an expert because I don't know. I mess up every day, Dr. Anana. Like, I don't get it all right. But what I am is an advocate where I would stand with people in the trenches and help them move from where they are to where they know that God has called them to be.
So needed. Look, so needed in this time. And again, of us having this conversation and talking about where we are today, the last Wednesday in July 2020, and I know we all have been through just a whirlwind, right? Since March of emotions, health, loss, grief, you name it, right? We all have felt it. And I like it when you spoke a bit about, your story, but getting folks and, being okay with getting to the point of seeking the help and the therapy and identifying where they are. And tell me, because I think when I read a bit about your bio, that I think it was a lot of different things and loss that you experienced even as a young lady, correct?
Absolutely. I really believe that I specialize in trauma and that I have a PhD in hardship because from the very beginning, my earliest days, it was really filled with trauma. So just to kind of give you a quick backstory on how the early days started to really shape and form. Before I was born, my parents lost a baby. She passed away at 5 months. So if you know anything about maternal health, especially maternal mental health, is whatever the mother is experiencing when she's pregnant, the baby also feels that. So after my sister had passed away, my parents never planned on having another baby, and then they found out that they were pregnant with me a few months later. So when my mom was pregnant, she felt a sense of anxiety, a sense of concern and worry of like, is this baby going to have the same heart condition as the other one? So I think even in the womb, there was this spirit, this sense of anxiety, this sense of like burdenness that I felt and that I experienced. So even from the very beginning age, from it, as long as I can remember, there was a space of anxiety that I often set in. And I think what happened to me, which happens to many people, is that you start normalizing that chaos in your life. You start normalizing anxiety. You start normalizing depression. You start normalizing the space of stress and overwhelm to where it becomes a part of who you are, even though it's toxic. Like you become a part of that toxic positivity is what we really call it in like the culture spaces. So I think for me, for many, many years, I deemed what I was experiencing as normal. Like I didn't know what it meant to be happy. I didn't know what it meant to be excited. I didn't know what it meant to have a very solid balance on my emotions. Like I was either up or down. I was either hot or cold. And I wasn't taught that as a child. I wasn't taught how to really manage your emotions. I wasn't taught, this is how you build your mental strength and your mental stamina. What I was taught was life is hard, but you're built to survive. Girl, there's no need to cry. Deal with it, pray about it, keep moving. Like there's other people that have harder issues. There's other people that are going through storms. There's other people that have greater struggles. Like you're okay. Wipe those tears, get up and keep going. So for many years, I silenced those emotions and they became a part of me. But what I didn't realize is that who I was not who I was created to be.
Okay, wait. Say that again, because I know somebody needs to get that tonight.
Yes, I mean, it was like,
you say it. I want to make sure they get it.
Yes, it was like who I was, this person that was depressed, this person that was stressed, this person that was irritable, this person that was angry, this person that sought negative relationships from women and men, this person that questioned everything, that struggled with self-esteem, that struggled with confidence. That was not who I was. That was just who I became. So in order for me to shift and to really dismantle and break the dysfunction over my life, I had to learn how to create a new normal for my life. I had to learn how to dismantle dysfunction. I had to learn how to eliminate the negative chatter in my head. And most importantly, I had to learn how to start thinking about what I wanted and then creating the action and the habits that I needed to get those things.
That's a lot, sis. Whoa. I think I want to just rewind. I hope as you're watching, please share some of the numbers. Yes. Dr. Jenna is just like going. I thought she was like from New York and New Jersey. Where you from, Dr. Jenna? You going fast?
I'm from Texas. I'm from Texas, okay, and I go fast. Let me slow it down. I'm from Texas, but I go fast because I'm so passionate about it. And this thing, y'all, it kept me in bondage for 28 years of my life. It kept me missing out on opportunities, not because the enemy attacked me, but because I self-sabotage myself. I think many times that we stay in a space where we feel like, oh, it's the enemy. Oh, these things are happening to me. But sometimes in life, you're your own worst enemy. Sometimes in life, you hold your own self back. And I was in a space where I was so used to self-sabotaging me that I didn't even know how to take care of me.
Oof. That's that right there. I mean, talking about self-sabotage and normalizing trauma and dysfunction. Man, oh man, that alone, we could be here for 3 hours on that piece. What you say? Because I mean, when we talk about and the thing is, and I wonder, how do you even get to that point? Because we live in the dysfunction. We don't even, it's normal, right? It's from our upbringing. I mean, you're talking about just your mom dealing with anxiety before you were even born, and how you know, pretty much inherited even that, and just these things. And the one thing even about Blessed Girl, the point of it is to try to cut the learning curve, you know, if you will, to try to get to girls before, you know, they get to 30, 40 years old. And, you know, they have to, again, dismantle the dysfunction and work through the trauma. Let's do this on the front end, you know, so we cannot waste so much time living a lie, or living in I don't even know, in a facade, living in something that really is not who we really truly are, who we're called and who we're purposed to be. And who would ever think that that goes right along with mental health? That really is, like you said, as being a mental health advocate, that's really, you're talking about creating the future and the present that you really deserve right now. Isn't that right? It's just amazing how it's connected, because, you know, yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff.
It is. There's an alignment. And what most of us think it's like it's a separation. But what I teach my young people is that where your mind goes, your body follows. Like, so where your mind goes, your body follows. And even though my mom kind of had those feelings, she did raise me to be courageous. She did raise me to be bold. She instilled in me some of the traits and qualities that I still hold on today. However, I was also a child that experienced significant trauma from abuse from friends or family members. And then at 14, I held my mom's hand as she took her last breath. So now everything that she had instilled in me, everything that she had given me, now this space of trauma, it started all over. Because I don't know about anybody else on there, but when I lost my mama, I lost my soul. I lost my everything, because I went from being 14 years old, living in a middle-class family, to now I don't know what's next. To now I don't know what the future looks like. To now I don't know if there's people around me that truly have my best interests. So now it was like, Jenna, are you going to sink? Are you going to swim? Like, are you going to fight? Are you going to flight? Like, what are you going to do? But what you can't do, you cannot become another trivia question, a statistic. You got to push yourself, girl, and become a trivia question. You got to push yourself, and one day have people asking you, how did you do it? And I think so that was the shift out there, Yana. When I really look back, you know, you talked about, you know, making sure that those young girls, that they have what they need. And I think my mom did a good job. You know, I really think it was almost like a puzzle, where when I had her for my first 14 years of life, she gave me the pieces to a puzzle. When she passed away, I still had the box and the pieces to the puzzle. Now I had to learn how to put them together. And I think that's where the learning, that's honestly where the hardships in life came from. It wasn't just the passing. It was learning how to take everything that she'd given me and put that together and create the life that I wanted.
Absolutely. I can't even imagine, you know, going through the loss of your mom at 14. When I'm thinking of 14, you know, you're just starting to develop, you know, you're becoming a young woman. You might start liking boys, wanting to date, you know, it's just this time you might start wearing makeup, you know, and I just think about, you know, just a free young woman, you know, young girl developing, but you literally went through the loss of your mother right there in your own hands at that age. And to see you now, you know, I mean, it's incredible. And even thinking about, even now, you know, we're talking about loss. There's people that are losing their children, their parents. I mean, grief itself, right? You know, that process in that regard, and how that can cause mental health, mental illness, if in regard. How did you even get through that? You know? And I'm sure that we may even be talking. There may be folks that are watching right now. Of course, we talk. You know, I think in the U.S. we're talking about over, you know, thousands of deaths a day. So there's a good chance that somebody is watching that's dealing with grief, and on top of that, maybe not even be able to be in the hospital or in hospice, even with the family members. What are some things, or you know, advice or anything that you want to even just talk about dealing with grief and how you were able to overcome that, if you will?
So when I think about it, I think number one is that everybody's grief process is different.
Is she there?
Uh, yes, I'm here. Can you hear me? I think, number one, everybody's grief process is different. And, when I think about it, I think for me, my grieving process was long, it was drawn out because I went from, losing my mom to really being raised as life goes on, you keep going. Like we don't have time to be stuck in pain. We don't have time to be stuck in problems. Like you got stuff you got to do. So I went really 7 years of kind of suppressing what I was feeling. And I was 21 years old. I was a student at the University of Texas, and I had made up my mind that I was tired, that I could no longer handle these stresses of life. I felt that God had forgotten me. I felt that I had prayed and I was the praise dancer at church. I was in the choir. I was everything at church. And I'm like, here I am, and God's not hearing me. I felt that I was the good girl. I had made the good grades. I was involved in activities. And I'm like, God, like you took my mom. You took my mom, but you left my dad. God, you took everything from me. And I was just at the place where I was so depressed, where I started literally asking God to take my life. When I think about it, I was so weak. And I didn't have the strength to kill myself. So I would pray and ask God to do it. And I remember one day, like it was yesterday, and I was praying and I was asking God to God, like let the death angel come by and get me. God, just let them come pick me. Like I know you pick people all the time. Just pick me because I can't do this. Like I'm so tired of hurting. I'm so tired of pretending that things are okay. I'm so tired of just feeling like my life is out of control. And I remember praying and I was laying on the floor of my closet, face down. And I remember the Lord telling me, you got to think up. And I heard it again. It said, you got to think up. You got to create what you want in your mind first. So when I talk about Think Up now, even though it's a whole movement that has went all around the globe, Think Up was something that I never chose. It chose me. And although Think Up is a movement, it started more as a message for me. And then that message became my mission. So when I think about the grief process, I have to go back to that day. That day is the day that I made a decision that I was going to choose life and that I was going to think up. Can you guys hear me? I think I've lost Dr. Anana. I don't see her. I don't hear. Can you guys hear me? Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. Okay. All right. You guys can hear me. All right. But look, we gonna roll. So I was talking about Think Up. I was talking about how Think Up chose me and how it was at that moment. So when you talk about Think Up, I want to break it down to you of what Think Up looks like and what that means to think up. So number one, we all have a vision for our life. There's something that we all are striving for, that we want to create, that we want to reach. Most of the time, we allow our own insecurities, our own fears, our own limitations to keep us back. From mental health diagnosis to non-diagnosis. Like we allow our own selves to kind of set us back. So when I started the process of thinking up, the first thing I had to do is that I had to change my thinking. That meant I had to learn how to hold every thought captive. That means I had to ask myself, are these thoughts, are they helping me or are they hurting me? Anything that was hurting me, I had to literally serve it its eviction notice. That means it had to go. So think about the people that you know, maybe family or friends, or maybe you walked through that eviction path. When somebody is served an eviction notice, you got like 3 days to get up and out. They don't care that you don't have all your stuff packed. They don't care if you haven't found anywhere else to go. They don't care if you haven't called the movers. Like when something is served an eviction notice, it has to go. Well, that's the same thing that I had to do and that you have to do with your negative thinking patterns. They have to go. Things that are no longer serving you, that are no longer helping you, cannot occupy your mental space. Point blank, period. It can't. So the first thing I had to do was I had to teach myself how to think differently. I had to teach myself how to think about the things that I wanted to achieve. I had to teach myself on a small level how to think. So for example, instead of waking up one day and saying, oh my gosh, I'm so overwhelmed, I have so many things to do, I had to switch that and start saying, my cup is running over. I have so many opportunities. I have so many blessings. Money is chasing me down. Opportunities are chasing me down. Like I'm in a space where my cup is running over versus I'm in a space of overwhelm. Because whatever you think about is what you're going to bring about. If you don't believe me, think about this. If you ever purchase a car, you purchase a white car. You ain't seen not one white car on the street until you get your car. Now you get your car, everybody has a car. Or if you've ever been pregnant, and it seems like everybody's pregnant. In 2017, I had my last baby, and I promise you, everybody was pregnant. Because what I was thinking about, I was attracting that and bringing that into my environment. Well, that's the same way that your thoughts play a part. So I had to learn how to think differently. I had to stop using words as overwhelmed. I had to stop using words as I'm broke or I don't have. I had to start saying, I may not have it yet, but I am, like the transaction is pending. I really had to stop saying, oh, there's so much traffic, I'm going to be late. No, thank God I have a car. Thank God for vision. Thank God that I can drive my car. Thank God I have gas. Thank God that I have the ability to go from one place to the other. So I really had to start shifting my thinking about every single thing in my life. I had to do what I call mind checks. I had to check my mind immediately. That meant I had to ask, is what I'm thinking, is this helping me or is it hurting me? If it was hurting me, I had to check it. So for example, let's make this real time. I see two different types of people that are in the space that I work with. I see people that are looking at this pandemic, that are looking at this season of life as an opportunity. But then I also see people that are looking at this season as an obstacle. If we got to go through the season, the choice is yours of what you want to get from it. The ones that see this as an opportunity, that see the world has slowed down for me, my kids are home, I can spend more time with them, I can go home and I can really build my business right now. I have the time to kind of write my book. I got the stimulus money, so I can invest in a photo shoot. I can invest in a coach. The people who see this as an opportunity will get ahead. The people that will see this as an obstacle will stay where they are. Now, we're not talking about, because I don't want to be dismissive, because there are families that are going through real pain right now, that are struggling with COVID-19. I know that it's real and I know families are impacted, but I'm talking about families that are not in that space of where they have significant illness in their families or they're not experiencing significant loss. I'm talking about many of us that are procrastinators. I'm talking about many of us that are casual with our calling. We're not doing the things that we've been called and created to do, yet we keep praying and asking for things to change, yet we're not obedient to the things that we can do right now. That's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about those of us, and I have to put myself in this category because, like I said, I'm walking this out with you. Those of us that would rather talk about it than be about it. Those of us that would rather keep saying, well, if I had more money, if I had more time, if I had more this, let me tell you, you may never have more time. You may never have more opportunity. You may never have more of anything. The opportunity of a lifetime will only exist in the lifetime that is given. So in this space, there's two types of people: the people that are seeing it as an opportunity, the ones that are seeing it as an obstacle. So I had to shift and start seeing everything in front of me as an opportunity. I had to stop looking at past pains in my life as things that have hurt me and things that have been sent to hold me back. And I started saying, maybe sometimes in life, things don't happen to you, they happen for you. It was for those things that I had to endure so that I could now be placed on a platform where I could speak life to other people. I had to go through being overlooked in corporate America. So now I can teach corporate executives how to create a culture where everybody could win. I had to go through losing my hearing and not being able to speak for about a year and a half to teach other people how to have effective communication. So sometimes in life, things aren't happening to you, but they're happening for you. But it's up to your mind. So the first part of the process is T. That's your thinking. So everybody write T in the comments. I want to make sure y'all are with me until Dr. Ananda comes back. But look, we're going to keep this rolling. This is how we do. This is how sisters support one another. This is how we step in. We step in the gap. This is her show. So if you guys just tuning in and you're like, where's Dr. Ananda? I don't see her here. She will be back. She had a little technology hiccup, but guess what? Your girl got this. We're going to finish it strong. She said this is the last session. This is the last segment. In July, we're talking about minority mental health. So guess what? I'm not going to drop the torch. I'm not going to drop the baton. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to carry it. So you guys tune in, share this on behalf of my sister, Dr. Ananda. Let her know we got her. We got her covered while she kind of gets it back together. All right. I see some T's in the comments. So the first T is your thoughts. The second thing that I had to do once I started learning how to reframe and retrain my mindset, I had to learn how to take action. A is for action. I had to learn how to do the things that I was called to do. So let me break this down, because there are a lot of people that are busy, and there are a lot of people that are busy and broke. There are a lot of people that are busy and broken. So when you talk about mental health, when you talk about thinking up, when you talk about creating what you want and really moving yourself into a space where you're healthy, you have to start doing things that are going to propel your life forward. So the same way that I had to check my mindset, I had to also look at the things in my life. Am I doing things that are going to help me? So the second one is A. Drop A in the comments. A is for action. So once you change your thinking, the second thing you have to do is that you have to change what you do. You can't say, I want to lose weight, but then still go and drive through Krispy Kreme donuts or Dunkin' Donuts. Hello, I'm talking to myself. You can't say, I want more money and I want to be wealthy. Yet you won't even budget the $10,000, the $5,000, or even the $1,000 that you have. You won't budget that. So I had to change how I was doing things. I had to change what I was doing every single day. So let me bring this home to you. I had to move into a space where I focus on the now thing. Because when you have a history of overwhelm, hello somebody, when you have a history of anxiety, hello, when you have a history of stress and procrastination and self-sabotaging and talking yourself out of things and talking yourself down and looking more at your fear versus your faith, when you have a history of those things, you can get overwhelmed easily and you don't move forward. That was me. So what I've had to learn how to do is that I've had to focus on what I call the now thing. Somebody put the now thing in the chat. So when you talk about action, you talk about what do you do? Like, how do you move yourself forward? Like, what do you do? Most people come to me as their coach and it's like, I want to do all these things and I'm not doing anything right now. And I'm so stuck. I'm so overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. And I tell them to do their now thing. to do the thing that will catapult everything else in your life. Do the thing that will propel you to move forward in life. So, for example, the now thing is about doing the one thing that you know you're supposed to do. We may not know our next thing. We may not know what we're supposed to do next. But you know today, before you go to bed, what you're supposed to do. You know that thing that keeps you up late at night, the thing that wakes you up in the morning. That's what the now thing is. For example, if you know that you need to lose weight, and I'm going to say weight because it's something that many of us, especially women, that we've made as one of our primary goals. But that means that we have to do different things. That means that if we want to lose weight, and the first thing we know we need to do, okay, I need to get off this couch. I need to move my body. So that means that I need to walk 30 minutes a day. Or that may mean, I have a business and I really have not finalized my website. None of my links work. People can't hire me if they want to. So I need to get my website together. The now thing for you, if you're struggling with mental health, it may be, I need to take my medicine. How about that? I need to see my therapist. I need to make sure that I am praying and I'm meditating every day. I need to make sure that I'm getting some sunlight because vitamin D has been found to help with reducing the cortisol, which reduces stress. Like, we all know the one thing, the now thing that we're supposed to be doing. So I had to make that priority in my life. So that meant the moment I get up in the morning, I focus on my now thing. And then I don't do this one time, or I don't do this until I feel better. I do this until it no longer works. Somebody just missed that. I do the thing that I'm supposed to do over and over and over until it no longer works. So let me kind of break this down. So I keep thinking up and changing my thoughts until positive thoughts no longer help in my life. That means I keep doing the one thing that I'm called to do every single day until that thing no longer works. Well, let me tell you, it's going to keep working. So I do it over and over and over until it no longer works in my life. Most of us do it until it works. And then once it works, we stop. I had to reverse that. I do it over and over and over until it no longer works. So that moves us to the third part, the process, which is habits. So somebody write H for habits. So first part of Tahoe, the method that I teach is T, you have to change your thoughts. A, you have to change what you're doing every day. You have to change your action. You got to take action. And H, you got to develop healthy mental habits. You have to do things that will move your life forward, not until they work, but until it no longer works. So let me share the distinction with you. Many years ago, when I used to take antidepressants, and I would take the medicine until I felt good. So the medicine would be working, I would feel good, and then I would be like, okay, but I don't need this no more, the depression's gone. So then I would stop taking the medicine, and then I would go with my life because I hadn't developed any other habits. So then I would stop taking the medicine, I would go on, and 2 months later, once the medicine was fully out of my system, or 3 months later, I would relapse, I would crash, and I would go back into the cycle. And I would get back on the medicine, and I would be on the medicine 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, and then I would be feeling good. I'm like, I don't need this, I got this now. Life is good, I make more money. And then I would stop taking the medicine, and then I would crash. So what I realized was, number one, I was too dependent on medicine. That's a whole nother conversation. Number two, I didn't have any habits that could sustain me. And number three, I was doing things until they worked versus doing things until they didn't work. So what I went back and did, I said, if I'm going to change my life, then I'm going to change my habits. That means I got to change what I do. I'm reverse engineering it. That means I have to change my mindset. So what do the habits look like? The habits for me look like creating the life that I want by becoming the person that will help get me there. So let me slow down because I want to make sure that this sticks. I got to stick my landing here. Because there's somebody that's listening, whether you're watching live or you're watching a replay, that you have a goal, you have a dream, you have a desire. And you have put somebody on a pedestal and said, man, I wish I was like them. Man, I wish I had what they had. Man, I wish I could have that car, that house, that husband. Oh, I wish I was her size. Like we have somebody that we're put in that space. and we're thinking about what they have, and we're basing that on how do we get that. But what I want you to shift to is that you don't focus on what they have, you focus on their mindset. Because you have the mindset that they have, you can get anything you want. So I had to change my thinking, develop this success mindset where I wasn't going to stop no matter what. I had to change what I was doing. So that meant every day I had to wake up with purpose. I had to wake up with intention. I had to have a sense of urgency about the things that God had called me to do. I had to make sure that every day I was using my gift, and I was maximizing my gift, that I was planting seeds. I wasn't worried about when those seeds would prosper. I wasn't worried about when those seeds would reap a harvest. I had to literally get into a space where I would plant seeds, where I would use my gift every single day. Then that became a habit. The habits in your life will change when you do them until they no longer work. So let me share what this looks like for me now. Because when I think about the success that I've had, especially this year, and the year's not even over, and I have doubled the income that I made in 2019. Not because I'm great or because I'm smart, but because I changed how I was thinking and looking at my life. Because what I don't want you to do is see, oh, well, you're Dr. Jenna, you're this, you have that. No, sweetie, I have everything that you have. No, bruh, I'm walking the same path you walking. But let me tell you what happened for me. So I went back and I started looking at what are the success habits that I need to develop to become the person that I desire to be. Like, what are the habits that I need to have in place? So this is what it is. If you got paper, I need you to write this down. Because my clients that are doing this, they're having $50,000 lunches. They're having $85,000 lunches. They are writing books. They are losing weight. They are strengthening their relationships with their husbands and their families. They feel more clear. They feel more focused. They're getting sleep. Like, so it's not just always about the money or the physical. It's about who you become in the process. So let me give you what I give to them so that you can start doing this now. Yes, Elizabeth, do it until it no longer works. Like, that's the space we have to be in. You have to be so consistent, so diligent, so obsessed with this that you're willing to do this until it no longer works. Until you can say, getting up in the morning, praying. So I'm using my faith because this is what I do. So praying, meditation, and journaling is the first thing that I do. So I have to do this until it no longer works. If prayer, meditation, and journaling is working for me, then I'm going to keep doing it. If it's no longer working, then I can take that out. But what happens when you develop a habit, it's impossible for things not to work. It's impossible to go to the gym and work out and eat healthy, drink your water, and not see a result. You may not see pounds lost, but you may have more mental clarity. You may have focus. You may have inches. So it's impossible to do the right thing and not see a result. It's going to happen, but you have to do it until it's no longer working for you. And that means a lifelong. So let me tell you what I do in the mornings that will set me up and that have changed every aspect of my life. So number one, I wake up first thing in the morning. I pray, I meditate, I read my Bible. That's number one. I spend anywhere from 2 hours and 40 minutes of spiritual development. I believe the tithing my money, which is 10%. So I tithe 10% of my time. So that's what I do every day. And yes, I'm a mom. Yes, I'm a wife. Yes, I have 3 kids. Yes, I have several different business ventures. So you talk about 2 hours per day, I don't have time. No, I create the time because I need that. That's my lifeline. I create it. I create what I desire. So I tithe my time. So in the morning, the first thing is seeking God. The second thing that I do is I make sure I drink water. So I want you to up your water intake. I drink close to a gallon of water a day, if not the full gallon. So I need you to increase your water intake. Then I want you to move your body 30 minutes a day, every single day. Now, we're not talking strenuous exercise where it's going to put pressure on your knees or your joints. We're talking about whether it is stretching, whether it is yoga. We're talking about walking. We're talking about running if you love to run. We're talking about mixing up between dance and weightlifting if that's your thing. We're talking about you moving your body every single day. Our bodies were not created to just sit and be stagnant. We have to move our bodies. We have to get up. So every single day, I do those things. Then the next thing that I do is that I listen to something motivational, spiritual, educational. Like I'm getting it in. I am learning. I am growing. I need to expand my mind. Like I want God to expand my territory and expand my impact. I have to be expanding as a leader. So I have to learn. I have to absorb. I have to become obsessed with personal development. This is where you shift from the promise and the outcomes of things, and you have to literally fall in love with this process. The process of learning, the process of growing, the process of learning how to win every single day, the process of going through storms, of going through obstacles where you become so obsessed with becoming a better version that you forget that there's a result on the end. Like, I'm dead serious. Like, where you forget what you're working for because you're so in love with the person you're becoming. You're in love with who you're becoming physically and mentally and spiritually and emotionally and financially. Like, you're so in love with the process of you that it doesn't matter whatever else happens. So that's where I start. Then I move to what are the things, if I didn't do nothing else today, what's the one thing I could do today that will move my life forward? What's the one thing that I could do? And that's what goes on my list. That's what goes on my agenda. That's my top priority. Then I have 2 other items. It's not about doing everything. It's about doing the things that will move your life or business forward. It's about being strategic. It's about moving and operating on purpose. So when we talk about mental health is not just the absence of illness, but it's also the presence of wellness. How do you become your best and biggest version of yourself? How do you develop what I call the mental strength and the mental stamina that will propel you to your next space? This is the space we want to be in. This is what minority mental health looks like. It's about us as people of color, as women of color, as African American leaders, women and men, of taking charge of who we have been created to be and becoming mentally healthy. So this is how we make the shift. So are there any questions? I know we have like 10 minutes. So I want to honor your space. Thank you guys in the chat room. Y'all are going in. I want to honor your space. Are there any questions? Drop your questions now. Let's get them answered. Drop your questions. Ask me anything. Let's go. Yes. See God, increase your water intake, move your body 30 minutes a day, listen to something spiritual, motivational, or educational. That's number 4. And the 5th thing is to be strategic and purposeful with your time and your task. Yes, contact information. So you can find me anywhere online at Dr. Jenna. My website is thinkyourwayup.com. If somebody can put that in the chat, that would be great. thinkyourwayup.com. And, oh, Robin, you don't have to thank me. I love you. Robin is actually one of my VIP coaching clients. So I do help people. I do help thought leaders from the life coaching side as well as the executive coaching side. So, hey, Dr. Anada.
Oh, my goodness. Oh, sis, thank you so much. I promise you, I was on Facebook watching. I couldn't do anything.
Listen, I was like, we gonna keep this going for her. This is what we do as women, as sisters. We keep it going. Y'all share this. We gonna make her shine. This is what we do. Like, we don't tap out. We tap in for one another. We tap in for one another. Yes.
I love it. I didn't want to hit one button because I thought it was going to just stop it. So I was like, I'm going to wait until she finishes and then I'm going to reset it. So it just worked out perfectly. Oh my guys, the comments, the response, people are texting me. They just saw my black box, but they were like, you were giving it. So
I know. I was like, if y'all are watching, this is Dr. Anana's show. She had that hookup, but this is her show. I'm just filling in until she comes back. I said, but it's all good. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep rolling.
My goodness, yes, this is so good. So I think they gave me the synopsis. I see Reverend Donna Stewart. She has seek God, increase your water intake, and move your body for 30 minutes. Okay, so they're getting it. They asked for your contact information. I see Ambassador Robin Shirell. She gave your website is thinkyourwayup.com. Is that right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to give them?
No, that's it. You guys go there, get what you need. Hit me up. Y'all can inbox me. I'm not one of those people. Don't send me a DM. No, inbox me. Let me know, because look, we're all in this together. And your obedience to do the thing that God has called you to do is tied to somebody else's destiny.
And stopped it right.
Okay.
There. All right. Now I know you probably went through all this so fast, but I'll stop you right there. Your obedience to what God wants you to do is probably tied to someone else's destiny. Yes. So your obedience. Yes. So your obedience to do what God has called you to do is tied to somebody else's destiny. Yeah. So many times, Dr. Anana, we think that it's just us. So we're in this, well, I'm afraid. What if nobody shows up? What if this? It don't even matter about that, because you're on assignment. Like your life is not your life. Like you work for God. He's the manufacturer. He created you. So when you've been created for something, then there's something you have to do with that. And when you stay in this place of fear, like, well, what if I don't? It don't even matter. It blocks somebody else. I tell my clients all the time, I said, somebody is Googling you right now. You are the answer to somebody's problems. And I can tell you that being a corporate trainer where I work with C-suite level executives of some of your favorite brands, I can tell you the number of meetings. Yesterday, I sat in a 2-hour and 46-minute meeting where they were saying, we don't have diverse staff. We need diversity trainers. Like, you are somebody's answer, but you got to move. You got to get into position. And this is time for it. The time is now. Like, it's no longer time to be playing small, playing, it's time to be bold. The world needs you. Like, you feel that right now, there's such a void, and there's a space waiting for you to step up, step in, and be you and be bold. So I pray that everybody watching tonight really gets that. They feel that. They are encouraged and inspired. Whatever you've been sitting on, you've been hemming and hawing about, the time is now to think up. Isn't that right?
That's it.
Think up. This was so incredible, even in spite of, and I love that. I am so grateful and thankful and appreciative of course, your willingness, because I know you're a bad sister. And
we'll do another one, Dr. Anana. We'll do another one where you can be on the floor.
Yes.
Yes, we'll have to set another date. If you guys want us to come back and set another date, put a 2 in the comments. How about this?
Give us a 2 if you want more of Dr. Jenna and Dr. Anana when we can really kick it.
Yes, that's it.
You will absolutely. We're going to certainly do this again. So number 2, if you guys are going to agree, you're going to come back and hang out with us another time, and because I know she's off to the next one and the next one. But I'm sure that this is the season we are going to do some amazing things together. So I truly appreciate you, everyone, for watching. Please make sure that you share this broadcast, because again, if it's not for you, first of all, I'm sure you were blessed by it. Yeah. I'm sure she gave you something that you can put and take into action tonight, today.
Today,
absolutely. Week, not next month, not 2021, but this is something that you can do today. And so with that, I want you to make sure that you take action tonight. All right. So so we getting our 2s. They're coming back. They want to.
Okay. So we'll schedule.
So we'll absolutely do that. And again, I just appreciate you. And again, this was an awesome way to end this month, to really talk about mental health, mental awareness, but even at another level. and you're talking about the C-suite level where your mental health still matters, right?
Absolutely.
It needs to still be a priority for you to remain, to sustain, and to even go to the next level that God has for you. So with that, guys, we thank you so much for watching. I thank you again. Like, share, comment, and we'll be back next week. Next week, we're going over to London. We're going over across the pond. I have Dr. Zena coming to share, and she's an incredible The Reinvent You coach. So we'll be back with another amazing, beautiful, fabulous, bold, be blessed, be you experience with Real Talk, Real Solutions. So thank you guys so much. Listen, sign it off, but we will definitely be back. Thank you, Dr. Jenna.
Bye. Thank you. Y'all have a good evening. Bye-bye.